they loved the fifth floor. They were getting a lot of readings. They actually picked up a voice that night when no one was on the floor, and sweeping noises. So the fifth floor seems to be like the hottest spot in regard to activity. I was sent up to the fifth floor where marketing department stores their things to do some inventory for empty stocking. So I'm up there all by myself, and at the time we had a mechanical crank elevator, which means no one can use the elevator if you have the elevator up on a certain floor if you leave the doors open, which I did. So I knew nobody came upstairs, but while I was up there, I heard footsteps, women's footsteps. So I thought maybe somebody was upstairs. I started calling out, hello, I'm in here. No response. So I came downstairs and I asked everyone in our department, were you guys looking for me? My boss, Tom Lashley, said, oh yeah, I meant to tell you about that. Meaning there had been rumors that there was some entity in the tower. The fifth floor is considered a hotspot of activity because a couple years ago we decided to do a story about Halloween in our building. Every Halloween we do a story of some haunting in Rockford. We decided to focus on our building. At the time we had paranormal psychologists come down from Janesville, Wisconsin with their meters and their equipment, and they seemed to really like the fifth floor. There were other hot spots, the seventh floor apartment and the first floor where advertising is, but they loved the fifth floor. They were getting a lot of readings. They actually picked up a voice that night. It was a man's voice, and this is what you hear on the tape.
Did you hear that? Yeah. What was it?
The tower is 8 stories high. On the 7th floor is a penthouse apartment. That was included with the architecture of the building in the 1930s because the person who wanted the tower built, Ruth McCormick Sims, our first female publisher, her and her husband lived up there for years and years. Sometimes when someone is promoted to the Register Star, if they don't have a place to live yet in Rockford, we let them live up there until they find an apartment or a house of their own. So it is being used right now. Well, we're sitting there in a really cold spot behind me. I was sitting on the small couch up there. Right behind me, it got really cold. So I said, you guys, why is it really cold behind me? One of the paranormals in the group said, well, it's a drafty building. And his partner, who was sitting next to me, said, no, dude, it's not that kind of cold. So he recognized it as a cold from an entity that he had experienced before. Well, one day she's in there and she put new bed linens and bedspread on the bedroom bed, and went away, and when she came back, there was a perfect indentation of a derriere on the bed. And this is after people have stayed there, after it's been stretched out, and every now and then a butt print shows up on the bed. The night that the ghost hunters were here, I have to admit, I prayed the whole way home that whatever it wasn't going to follow me home. The next day, in the daylight, I was really nervous. It bothered me. But I went up there that next day in the daylight because I had to make peace with whatever it was, because I have to continue to go up and down the tower. In the tower, I have to go in that. It's the 5th floor specifically I have to deal with, which is the hot spot.